Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to know that you finding your way here today is no accident. There's something stirring within you, isn't there? A deep knowing that you're capable of so much more than what you're currently experiencing. Maybe you've been carrying dreams that feel just out of reach, or perhaps you've tried manifestation before and felt disappointed when things didn't unfold the way you hoped they would. I understand that feeling completely, and I want you to know that your heart's desires matter. They matter because you matter. You see, for so many years of my own life, I believed that wanting good things for myself was somehow selfish or unrealistic. I thought that life was meant to be a struggle, and that hoping for better was just setting myself up for disappointment. But what I've learned through my own journey of healing and transformation is that our desires aren't random wishes floating through our minds. They're actually our soul's way of guiding us toward our highest good. When you feel that pull towards something better, something more fulfilling, that's your inner wisdom speaking to you. Right now, as you're listening to these words, I want you to take a gentle breath with me. Feel your body relax just a little bit. You don't have to carry all that tension in your shoulders or hold your breath waiting for the next disappointment. You're safe here in this moment, and you're exactly where you need to be. The fact that you're seeking answers, that you're open to learning a new way, tells me something beautiful about who you are. It tells me that despite any setbacks or challenges you've faced, your spirit remains unbroken. That spark of hope inside you is stronger than any temporary disappointment. There was a time in my own life when everything felt like it was falling apart. My health was failing, my relationships were strained, and I felt like I was drowning in my own negative thoughts. I remember lying in that hospital bed, feeling so small and powerless, wondering if anything would ever change. But even in that dark moment, there was a tiny voice inside me whispering that there had to be another way. That voice, that little spark of possibility, was the beginning of everything changing for me, and I believe that same spark lives within you too. The beautiful truth is that manifestation isn't some mystical power reserved for a chosen few. It's actually the most natural thing in the world. You've been manifesting your entire life, though you might not have realized it. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold about yourself and your life is constantly creating your reality. The question isn't whether you can manifest, but rather what you're currently manifesting and whether it's what you truly want. Now let's talk about this idea of manifesting desires in just 3 days. I want to be completely honest with you about what this means and what it doesn't mean. When we talk about 3-day manifestation, we're not talking about some magical formula where you wish for $1 million on Monday and find it in your mailbox on Thursday. That kind of thinking sets us up for disappointment and keeps us stuck in old patterns of wanting quick fixes to complex situations. What 3 days can do is create a powerful shift in your energy, your beliefs, and your relationship with your desires. Think of it like planting a seed in fertile soil. The seed doesn't become a full-grown tree in 3 days, but something miraculous does happen in that time. The shell begins to crack open. Tiny roots start to reach down into the earth, and the first green shoot begins its journey toward the light. That beginning, that shift from dormant potential to active growth, can absolutely happen in 3 days. The reason 3 days is so powerful is because it's long enough to create real change, but short enough that your mind doesn't have time to build up walls of resistance. Our minds are funny things, aren't they? Give them too much time to think about change, and they'll come up with 1,000 reasons why it won't work. But 3 focused days of aligned thinking, feeling, and being can bypass those mental obstacles and create genuine transformation. During these 3 days, we're going to work with the natural laws of energy and attraction that are always operating in your life. You know how when you're in a really good mood, good things seem to flow to you more easily? Or when you're feeling grateful and appreciative, You notice more things to be grateful for. That's not coincidence. That's the law of attraction in action. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy are aligned with what you want to create, you become a magnet for those experiences. But here's what most people miss about manifestation. It's not about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts what they desire. It's about shifting your inner world so completely that your outer world has no choice but to reflect that change back to you. This isn't about manipulation or control. It's about alignment and flow. I've seen this happen countless times, both in my own life and in the lives of the beautiful people I've had the privilege to work with over the years. A woman who spent years believing she wasn't worthy of love suddenly meets her soulmate just weeks after she begins treating herself with kindness. A man who always struggled with money starts a successful business after he releases his fear-based beliefs about wealth. These aren't miracles in the supernatural sense. They're the natural result of inner transformation expressing itself in the physical world. Now, as we begin this journey together, I want to address the blocks that might be living in your mind and heart right now. These blocks aren't your fault, and they don't make you broken or flawed. They're simply old programs running in the background of your consciousness, like outdated software on a computer. Most of these programs were installed when you were very young, before you had the wisdom to choose what you wanted to believe about yourself and your possibilities. Maybe somewhere along the way, someone told you that wanting good things for yourself was greedy. Perhaps you learned that life is supposed to be hard, that struggle equals virtue, or that dreaming big only leads to disappointment. Maybe you absorbed the belief that you're not smart enough, attractive enough, or worthy enough to have what you really want. These beliefs feel so real and true when they're playing in our minds, but the beautiful news is that they're just thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. The first step in clearing these mental blocks is to become aware of them with compassion rather than judgment. When you notice yourself thinking, "I could never have that," or "things like that don't happen to people like me," don't fight with those thoughts or try to force them away. Instead, treat them like you would a frightened child who needs comfort. You might say something like, "I understand that part of me is scared, and that's okay, but I'm choosing to believe something different now." One of the most powerful ways to clear limiting beliefs is through forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. So often, we carry guilt and shame about past decisions, missed opportunities, or times when we didn't live up to our own expectations. This emotional baggage creates energetic blocks that prevent new good from flowing into our lives. But forgiveness is like opening a dam that's been holding back a river. When you release those old resentments and regrets, you create space for fresh energy and new possibilities. Tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to try a simple but powerful practice. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Then, think about any area of your life where you've been hard on yourself. Maybe you're carrying guilt about a relationship that ended, regret about a career choice, or shame about a health issue. Whatever it is, place your hand on your heart and say these words: "I forgive myself for any mistakes I believe I've made. I did the best I could with the understanding I had at that time. I am worthy of love and good things, and I choose to release myself from the past." You might feel emotions come up when you do this, and that's perfectly natural. Tears, sadness, or even relief are all normal responses to letting go of old pain. Let yourself feel whatever comes up without trying to fix it or make it different. Your emotions are messengers, and they're helping you release what you no longer need to carry. As you drift off to sleep tonight, let your last thoughts be ones of gratitude. Not forced gratitude, where you try to convince yourself that everything is perfect, but gentle appreciation for small, real things. The softness of your pillow, the fact that you made it through another day, the truth that tomorrow is a fresh start filled with unlimited possibilities. Gratitude is like a magnet that draws more good into your life, and ending your day with appreciation sets the stage for tomorrow's miracles. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to approach your day differently than you have before. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone or rushing into the busyness that usually fills your mind, you're going to give yourself the gift of a few quiet moments to set your intentions for the day ahead. This isn't about creating a rigid schedule or putting pressure on yourself to be perfect. It's about consciously choosing the energy you want to carry with you as you move through your day. As soon as you open your eyes, before your feet even touch the floor, take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each breath, let yourself feel grateful that you've been given another day to experience life, to love, to grow, and to create something beautiful. This simple act of conscious breathing sends a signal to your entire being that today is going to be different. You're not just surviving today, you're going to thrive. Now here's where we begin to explore something really important: the difference between what your heart truly desires and what your mind thinks you should want. So many of us have gotten confused about this over the years. We've been conditioned to want things because society tells us they'll make us happy, or because we think they'll prove our worth to others, or because we believe they'll finally make us feel safe or accepted. But true manifestation comes from a much deeper place than that. Your authentic desires are the ones that make your soul light up when you think about them. They're the dreams that feel both exciting and peaceful at the same time. When you connect with a real heart desire, there's a sense of rightness about it, like you're remembering something you've always known rather than trying to convince yourself of something new. These desires don't come from lack or fear. They come from love and expansion, and your soul's natural impulse to grow and express itself. Ego desires, on the other hand, usually come with a sense of urgency or desperation. They're often about proving something to yourself or others, about filling a void you feel inside, or about trying to control how others see you. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice things or success or recognition, but when these wants come from a place of trying to fix something you believe is broken about you, they create resistance rather than flow. This morning, after you've taken those 3 conscious breaths, I want you to ask yourself a gentle question. What would bring me joy today? Not what you think you should want, not what would impress anyone else, but what would genuinely make your heart feel lighter. Maybe it's having a peaceful conversation with someone you love. Maybe it's spending time in nature or creating something beautiful with your hands. Maybe it's simply moving through your day with more kindness toward yourself. Whatever comes to you, don't judge it or try to make it bigger or smaller than it is. Just notice it and appreciate that your heart knows what it needs. This is your inner wisdom speaking to you, and the more you listen to it, the stronger and clearer it becomes. When you honor these small, authentic desires, you're training yourself to recognize and trust the bigger ones too. Now we're going to practice something that might feel a little unusual at first, but it's one of the most powerful tools for manifestation that I know. It's about learning to feel the feeling of already having what you desire, even before it shows up in your physical reality. This isn't about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about understanding that everything exists as energy and feeling before it becomes form. Think about something you really want to experience in your life. Maybe it's a loving relationship. Maybe it's work that fulfills you. Maybe it's vibrant health or financial freedom. Now, instead of focusing on the fact that you don't have it yet, I want you to close your eyes and ask yourself, how would I feel if this was already my reality? Would you feel grateful, peaceful, excited, confident? Whatever feelings come up, let yourself really experience them now. Breathe into those feelings. Let them fill your body and your energy field. This isn't make-believe. This is you connecting with the energetic reality of your desire. When you can genuinely feel the feelings of having what you want, you're aligning yourself with the frequency of that experience, and the law of attraction responds to that alignment. The beautiful thing about this practice is that you can do it anywhere, anytime. Waiting in line at the store, walking to your car, lying in bed at night, you can always take a moment to tune in to the feeling of your desires being fulfilled. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, and the more your outer world begins to shift to match your inner state. There's another practice I want to share with you that has transformed countless lives, including my own. It's called mirror work, and while it might feel uncomfortable at first, it's one of the most direct ways to change your relationship with yourself, and by extension, your entire life. The mirror reflects back to us not just how we look, but how we feel about ourselves. When you can look in the mirror with love and appreciation, you're sending a powerful message to the universe about your worth and what you're ready to receive. Tomorrow morning, after you've set your intentions and connected with your heart's desires, I want you to go to your bathroom mirror. Look into your own eyes. Really look. You might notice that you want to look away or focus on something you don't like about your appearance. That's normal and it's okay. Just gently bring your attention back to your eyes, those windows to your beautiful soul. Then, as you look at yourself, say these words out loud. I love you. I really love you. You are worthy of all the good things life has to offer. If saying I love you feels too difficult at first, you can start with something softer like, I'm learning to love you, or you're doing the best you can. The words matter less than the intention behind them. You're practicing treating yourself the way you would treat someone you deeply care about. Some people find that emotions come up during mirror work. Sometimes sadness, sometimes anger, sometimes unexpected joy. Whatever you feel is perfect. You're not trying to force any particular response. You're simply practicing a new way of relating to yourself, one based on kindness rather than criticism. This practice alone can shift your entire energy field and open you up to receiving love and good things from the world around you. As your second day unfolds, carry this energy of self-appreciation with you. Notice how differently you move through the world when you're treating yourself as someone worthy of love and respect. Notice how others respond to you when you're radiating that self-acceptance. This isn't about becoming arrogant or self-centered. True self-love actually makes you more loving toward everyone else because you're no longer trying to get from others what you're not giving to yourself. By the time you reach your third day, something beautiful will have begun to shift inside you. You've cleared some old blocks, you've practiced aligning with your authentic desires, and you've started treating yourself with more love and respect. Now it's time to take this internal transformation and begin expressing it in the world around you. This is where manifestation moves from internal work to inspired action. Living as if your desires are already manifesting doesn't mean acting recklessly or spending money you don't have. It means embodying the energy of someone who believes in their dreams and takes steps toward them every day. It means making choices from a place of possibility rather than limitation. When you truly believe that good things are on their way to you, you naturally start behaving in ways that support those good things arriving. Maybe this means cleaning out that spare room because you're expecting a wonderful new opportunity that will require more space. Maybe it means buying a journal to write in because you're calling in more creativity and inspiration. Maybe it means researching that class you've always wanted to take or reaching out to someone you admire. These actions aren't about forcing outcomes. They're about demonstrating to yourself and the universe that you're serious about your desires and ready to receive them. Pay attention to the little nudges you feel throughout your day. That impulse to call an old friend, to take a different route home, to strike up a conversation with a stranger. These aren't random thoughts. They're often the universe's way of guiding you toward your good. When you're in alignment with your desires, you become more sensitive to these subtle guidances, and following them often leads to unexpected opportunities and connections. This is what we call synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that seem to happen just when you need them most. The person who mentions exactly the resource you've been looking for, the job posting that appears just when you're ready for a change, the book that falls off the shelf at the library and contains exactly the information you need. These aren't accidents, they're signs that you're flowing with life rather than against it. As your third day draws to a close, take time to reflect on everything that has shifted since you began this journey. Maybe the changes are dramatic, or maybe they're subtle. Both are perfect. Transformation doesn't always look like lightning bolts and sudden miracles. Sometimes it's a gradual softening, a quiet opening, a gentle but persistent shift in how you see yourself and your possibilities. Write down 3 things that felt different about these past 3 days. Maybe you noticed that you smiled more, or that you felt less anxious about the future, or that you had an interesting conversation with someone new. Maybe you received an unexpected compliment or discovered something that excited you. These seemingly small things are actually evidence that your energy field is changing and that new experiences are beginning to flow toward you. End this third day with deep appreciation, not just for any external changes you might have noticed, but for your own courage in being open to a new way of being. It takes bravery to change old patterns and beliefs, to treat yourself with love when you're used to criticism, to hope for good things when you've been disappointed before. Honor yourself for taking these steps, for believing that you deserve better, for being willing to grow and expand beyond what you've known before. Your body is so much wiser than you might realize. Every thought you think creates a cascade of chemical reactions throughout your entire system. When you think thoughts of fear, worry, or stress, your body responds by tightening, by producing stress hormones, by essentially preparing for danger. But when you think thoughts of love, gratitude, and possibility, your body relaxes, your breathing deepens, and you produce chemicals that promote healing and well-being. This mind-body connection is one of your most powerful tools for manifestation. Your body is constantly giving you feedback about your thoughts and beliefs. When you're thinking in alignment with your desires, you feel good physically, energized, peaceful, excited. When you're thinking thoughts that work against your desires, your body feels heavy, tense, or depleted. Learning to pay attention to these physical signals helps you stay on track with your manifestation practice. Right now, as you're listening to these words, notice how your body feels. Are your shoulders tense? Is your breathing shallow? Are you holding your jaw tightly? These physical sensations often mirror mental and emotional tension. The beautiful thing is that you can use your body to shift your mental state. When you consciously relax your muscles, deepen your breathing, and soften your expression, your mind naturally follows. Let's practice this together. Take a deep breath in through your nose, imagining that you're breathing in peace and possibility. As you exhale through your mouth, let go of any tension you've been carrying in your body. Do this 3 times, and with each breath, feel yourself becoming more present, more relaxed, more open to receiving good things. This simple breathing practice can shift your entire energy in just moments, and it's something you can do anywhere, anytime you need to realign with your desires. Your body also holds the memory of every experience you've ever had. Sometimes, even when your mind is ready to embrace new possibilities, your body is still carrying the energy of old hurts, disappointments, or traumas. This stored tension can create blocks to manifestation, but it can also be released through conscious attention and loving care. When you notice areas of chronic tension in your body, instead of just accepting them as permanent, ask yourself what that part of your body might be trying to tell you. Tight shoulders often carry the weight of responsibility and worry. A clenched jaw might be holding back words you've been afraid to speak. Stomach tension could be related to fears about your security or survival. You don't need to analyze every sensation, but simply acknowledging that your body has wisdom and treating it with compassion can begin to release old patterns. As you continue on this beautiful journey of manifestation, there will be moments when doubt creeps in. This is so completely normal and natural that I want you to expect it and prepare for it with love rather than resistance. Doubt isn't your enemy. It's simply an old friend who's been trying to protect you from disappointment for so long that it doesn't yet know how to celebrate your expansion. When that voice in your head starts saying things like, "This isn't working," or "Nothing ever changes for me," or "I must be doing something wrong," I want you to treat it with the same gentle compassion you would show a worried child. You might say something like, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I'm choosing to trust in my own growth now." Don't fight with doubt or try to push it away forcefully. Simply acknowledge it and then consciously choose to focus on something that feels better. Sometimes doubt shows up as impatience. You've been doing the work for a few days or weeks, and you're wondering why everything isn't completely different yet. When impatience arises, it's helpful to remember that you're working with lifetimes of conditioning and belief patterns. The fact that you're seeing any change at all is actually miraculous. Every moment of increased self-love, every instant of feeling more hopeful, every tiny shift in how you see yourself is evidence that the process is working perfectly. Fear is another visitor that might knock on your door during this transformation. Sometimes we're actually afraid of our desires manifesting because having what we want means stepping into unknown territory. There's a strange comfort in familiar struggle, even when it's painful. If fear comes up for you, breathe deeply and remind yourself that you're safe to grow, safe to expand, safe to have good things in your life. You can handle success just as well as you've handled challenges. One of the most common obstacles people face is the tendency to monitor and measure their progress constantly. This is like digging up a seed every day to see if it's growing yet. When you're always checking to see if your manifestation is working, you're actually sending energy of doubt and impatience rather than trust and allowing. Instead, focus on how you feel day by day. Are you kinder to yourself? Do you notice more beauty around you? Are you sleeping better? These internal shifts are much more important indicators than external changes. Sometimes what looks like a setback is actually a setup for something even better than what you originally asked for. Maybe the job you wanted goes to someone else, but 2 weeks later, you discover an opportunity that's twice as exciting. Maybe a relationship ends, making space for a love that's more authentic and fulfilling. Trust that life is always working in your favor, even when you can't see the bigger picture yet. If you find yourself getting caught in old patterns of negative thinking, don't use that as evidence that you're failing. Transformation isn't a straight line from point A to point B. It's more like a spiral staircase where you revisit similar themes from higher and higher levels of understanding. Each time you choose love over fear, gratitude over complaint, possibility over limitation, you're strengthening new neural pathways in your brain and creating lasting change. When you feel discouraged, go back to the basics. Take those 3 conscious breaths. Look in the mirror and speak kindly to yourself. Connect with the feeling of your desires already being fulfilled. These simple practices are your anchors in any storm of doubt or confusion. They'll bring you back to center and remind you of who you really are and what you're truly capable of. The 3 days we've shared together are just the beginning of a lifetime practice of conscious creation. Think of these days as intensive training for a muscle you'll continue to strengthen for years to come. Just like physical exercise, the benefits of manifestation work compound over time. The daily practices that might feel new and unfamiliar now will eventually become as natural as breathing. Building sustainable manifestation habits doesn't require hours of complicated rituals or expensive tools. The most powerful practices are often the simplest ones, starting each morning with gratitude, even if it's just appreciation for your morning coffee or the sunlight coming through your window. Ending each day by acknowledging 3 things that went well, no matter how small. Taking a few conscious breaths whenever you notice stress or tension building up in your body. The mirror work we practiced can become a daily practice that transforms your entire relationship with yourself. You don't need to spend an hour each morning telling yourself affirmations. Even 30 seconds of kind eye contact with yourself while you brush your teeth can shift your energy for the entire day. Over time, you'll notice that the critical voice in your head becomes quieter, while the loving voice becomes stronger and more consistent. As weeks and months pass, you'll start to recognize your own patterns more clearly. You'll notice that certain thoughts consistently make you feel heavy, while others consistently lift your spirits. You'll become aware of which people and environments support your highest vision of yourself and which ones drain your energy. This awareness allows you to make conscious choices about where you put your attention and energy. Remember that manifestation isn't just about getting things, it's about becoming the person who naturally attracts wonderful experiences. As you continue practicing self-love, gratitude, and conscious intention setting, you'll find that your definition of success might evolve. Things that once seemed incredibly important might feel less urgent, while simple pleasures like meaningful conversations, peaceful moments, and small acts of creativity become more precious. There will be times when life challenges you in ways that make it difficult to maintain your positive practices. Illness, loss, financial stress, relationship difficulties, these are part of the human experience, and they don't mean you failed at manifestation. In fact, these challenging times are when your new tools become most valuable. When external circumstances are difficult, your ability to find peace within yourself, to treat yourself with compassion, and to maintain faith in life's goodness becomes a lifeline. Stay connected with people who support your growth and believe in your dreams. Limit your exposure to negative news and complainers when possible. Fill your environment with beauty, whether that's fresh flowers, inspiring books, uplifting music, or whatever makes your space feel more loving and peaceful. These aren't superficial changes, they're ways of supporting your energy and keeping yourself aligned with what you want to create. Let me share with you some stories that illustrate the beautiful ways manifestation can unfold in real life. There was a woman who had been struggling with loneliness for years, believing that there was something fundamentally unlovable about her. She began practicing daily self-appreciation, and within months found herself surrounded by new friendships and eventually met a partner who cherished exactly the qualities she had been criticizing about herself. Her outer world shifted because her inner world transformed first. Another story involves a man who had been stuck in a job that drained his spirit for over a decade. He was afraid to leave because he needed the security, but he was slowly dying inside. He started each day by connecting with how it would feel to do work that inspired him, even though he had no idea what that work might be. Within 6 months, a series of unexpected events led him to discover a talent he didn't know he had. and he gradually transitioned into work that felt more like play than labor. There's the story of a woman who had been battling health issues for years, spending enormous amounts of energy fighting against her body and feeling betrayed by it. When she began treating her body as a wise friend rather than an enemy, speaking to it with love and gratitude, remarkable healing began to occur. Her symptoms didn't disappear overnight, but her relationship with her health journey transformed completely, and her body began responding in ways that surprised even her doctors. One of my favorite stories is about a young mother who felt overwhelmed by financial stress and constantly worried about providing for her children. She felt guilty about wanting more than just survival, believing that struggling parents should only focus on basic needs. When she finally gave herself permission to dream about abundance and began treating money as a friend rather than a source of anxiety, opportunities began appearing from unexpected directions. A hobby turned into a profitable business, an old debt was forgiven, and her children grew up seeing their mother as someone who believed in possibilities rather than limitations. These stories aren't meant to suggest that manifestation is a quick fix for all of life's challenges. Rather, they illustrate how changing our inner relationship with ourselves and our circumstances can open up possibilities we never imagined. Each person's journey is unique, and your manifestations might look completely different from anyone else's. That's exactly as it should be. What these stories have in common is that each person reached a point where they stopped fighting against their current reality and started loving themselves enough to believe they deserved better. They stopped waiting for external circumstances to change before they could feel good, and instead began feeling good as a way of inviting change. They learned to see themselves as powerful creators rather than helpless victims of circumstance. Your own manifestation story is still being written, and it will be unlike any other story ever told because you are unlike any other person who has ever lived. Your dreams, your challenges, your gifts, your path, they're all uniquely yours. Trust that the desires in your heart are there for a reason. Trust that you have everything within you to create a life that brings you joy. Trust that the universe is conspiring to help you, even when you can't see how. Sometimes manifestations come in forms we don't expect. You might ask for more money and receive an opportunity to develop a skill that leads to greater long-term prosperity. You might ask for a romantic partner and first attract friendships that heal old wounds and prepare you for healthy love. You might ask for better health and discover practices that not only improve your physical well-being, but transform your entire approach to self-care. Stay open to gifts that come wrapped in different packages than you anticipated. The timing of manifestations often reflects a wisdom beyond our human understanding. Sometimes things we want desperately at one stage of our lives would actually limit our growth if they arrived exactly when we asked for them. Looking back, you might realize that delays and redirections were actually perfect timing, preparing you for blessings that were far greater than your original requests. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to know how proud I am of you for taking this journey. The fact that you've stayed with me through all these words, that you've been willing to examine your beliefs and try new practices, tells me something beautiful about who you are. It tells me that you're committed to your own growth and happiness. It tells me that you believe you're worth the effort it takes to create positive change. The most important thing you can take from our time together isn't any specific technique or practice, though those are certainly valuable. The most important thing is the remembering of your own worth and power. You are not a victim of circumstances beyond your control. You are not broken and in need of fixing. You are not too old, too young, too late, or too anything to start creating the life your heart desires. You are a magnificent being having a human experience, and that human experience is meant to include joy, love, fulfillment, and the satisfaction of seeing your dreams become reality. The universe that created you wants to support you in every way possible. Your job isn't to figure out how everything will unfold. Your job is to stay open, stay loving, and keep believing in the beauty of your dreams. From this moment forward, every morning is a new opportunity to choose thoughts that support your highest good. Every interaction is a chance to practice treating yourself and others with kindness. Every challenge is an invitation to demonstrate your growing faith in life's fundamental goodness. You have been given everything you need to create a life that feels like a celebration of who you truly are. Trust yourself, beautiful soul. Trust your desires. Trust your ability to grow and change and attract wonderful things into your life. Most of all, trust that you are deeply loved exactly as you are right now, and that this love wants to express itself through you in countless beautiful ways. Your journey of manifestation is really a journey home to yourself, and that journey begins with the very next thought you choose to think. Make it a loving one.